The Crystal Crown Hotel was famous for serving presidents, celebrities, and billionaires. Every employee knew one unwritten rule. If Ms. Victoria Lang walks in, don't make eye contact, don't argue, and don't make a mistake. Victoria Lang was one of the richest women in the country. She owned technology companies, luxury hotels, and investment firms worth billions. She was brilliant, demanding, and known for her icy personality. People called her the Ice Queen. Waiters whispered her name with fear. Managers rehearsed every detail before her arrival. Even experienced chefs became nervous whenever she made a reservation. On a rainy Friday evening, Victoria entered the restaurant wearing a black designer suit. She carried herself with confidence, her expression unreadable. The restaurant instantly fell silent. The manager hurried toward her. "Good evening, Ms. Lang. Your favorite table is ready." She barely nodded. As she walked through the dining room, employees lowered their eyes. At another table near the window sat Ethan Carter, a single father enjoying dinner with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. It had taken Ethan months to save enough money for this special evening. Lily had just won first place in her school science fair. "You promised we'd celebrate if I won," she reminded him with a huge smile. "I always keep my promises," Ethan laughed. Although money was tight, he wanted his daughter to feel proud. She deserved one unforgettable night. As Victoria passed their table, one of the waiters accidentally brushed against her chair. A few drops of sparkling water landed on her sleeve. She stopped walking. The entire restaurant froze. The terrified waiter immediately apologized. "I'm so sorry, ma'am, it was an accident." Victoria slowly looked at the tiny water drops. "Do you understand how much this suit costs?" "Yes. I'm terribly sorry." "You clearly aren't." The waiter lowered his head. "I'll pay for the cleaning." "You?" she asked coldly. "With what? 3 months of your salary." Several guests pretended not to listen. Nobody dared interfere. The young waiter looked close to tears. Victoria continued. "Managers today hire anyone." The restaurant manager rushed over. "My deepest apologies, Ms. Lang." "Fire him." "Ma'am, I said fire him." The manager hesitated. The waiter had worked there for 5 years. He supported his elderly parents. But refusing Victoria could cost the hotel one of its biggest clients. Before anyone spoke again, a calm voice interrupted. "No." Everyone turned. It was Ethan. Victoria slowly faced him. "What did you say?" Ethan remained seated. "I said no." The restaurant became completely silent. Nobody had ever challenged Victoria Lang in public. She studied him carefully. "You must enjoy interrupting conversations that don't concern you. They concern me when someone is being humiliated." Her eyes narrowed. "He damaged my clothing. It was an accident. That doesn't excuse incompetence. It also doesn't justify destroying someone's livelihood." Several guests exchanged surprised looks. Victoria folded her arms. "And who exactly are you?" "Just a father having dinner with his daughter." Lily looked nervous. She quietly held her father's hand. Victoria noticed. "You should teach your daughter not to interrupt adults." Ethan answered calmly. "I'm teaching her something much more important." "And what is that?" "That kindness costs nothing." A murmur spread through the restaurant. Victoria's expression hardened. "You think you're teaching me manners?" "No. I'm reminding everyone that power doesn't give anyone the right to treat people as if they don't matter." The manager silently begged Ethan with his eyes to stop. But Ethan didn't. Victoria stepped closer. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes. And you're still speaking to me like this?" "Yes." "Why?" "Because respect isn't something you buy." Lily smiled proudly. Victoria noticed the little girl's expression. For a strange moment, she remembered someone. A memory she had spent years trying to forget. Her younger brother. He used to smile exactly like that. Before the accident. Before everything changed. She quickly pushed the thought away. "I don't have time for lectures." She turned toward the manager. "Is he with your hotel?" "No, Ms. Lang." "Good." She looked back at Ethan. "Finish your meal." "I intend to." "You won't be welcome in any of my hotels again." Ethan shrugged. "If standing up for someone is the price, I'll gladly pay it." Even the manager looked shocked. Victoria stared at him for several seconds. Most people begged for forgiveness. This man didn't even seem afraid. She couldn't understand him. Just then Lily quietly stood. "Dad, it's okay." The little girl looked directly at Victoria. My daddy says angry people are usually hurting inside. The restaurant gasped. Ethan gently whispered, Lily. But it was too late. Victoria remained perfectly still. Those innocent words struck harder than any insult ever could. Hurting inside. Nobody had spoken to her like that in 20 years. Not since her mother died. Without saying another word, Victoria walked to her table. Dinner continued. But nobody could concentrate. Across the room, Victoria kept glancing toward Ethan and Lily. She watched them laughing over a slice of chocolate cake. They had so little, yet they looked happier than she had felt in decades. Meanwhile, Ethan quietly called the embarrassed waiter over. How much was her cleaning bill likely to cost? The waiter looked confused. Maybe $200. Ethan reached into his wallet. It contained nearly all the money he had left for the week. He handed the waiter every dollar. If she insists, use this. I can't accept that. You can. But what about you? We'll manage. The waiter burst into tears. Thank you. Victoria had witnessed the entire exchange from across the room. For the first time in years. She was speechless. She had expected the man to be arrogant. Instead, he had quietly sacrificed his own money to protect a stranger. As Ethan prepared to leave with Lily, Victoria watched them disappear into the rain. For reasons she couldn't explain, she suddenly wanted to know everything about the single father who had been the only person brave enough to stand up to her. Little did she know, their lives were about to collide again in a way neither of them could ever imagine.